Can you guys hear me? That's the first question I had to ask because last time we went, I think 15 minutes into our event and we had issues with the sound. So if you guys could put in the comments wherever you guys are watching, if you can hear me, is this your first time tuning in to FeFe the Holistic Gypsy? Moi, that is me. Our Will to Wellness Wednesday series. Welcome. Okay, I've gotten a confirmation that you guys can hear me. How are you guys doing tonight? We're working on being a little smoother, okay? We've had plenty of hiccups in the past, and we're still learning how to navigate through all this technology. But yeah, if this is your first time tuning in, if this is your first time watching the recording or the live, and someone has tagged you in prior postings or any of my work, I first of all want to send a warm welcome to our Will to Wellness Wednesdays talks. This is when we delve into anything, delving into affecting our will to wellness, affecting the process, the journey, and the different hiccups that we go through. We kind of got started early this fall. I know we're kind of headed in. Well, we're at the end of fall. We're now in Sagittarius season, so we are in the transition of going into winter. But Will to Wellness Wednesdays is where we do presentations and do free events. As you know, we broadcast in multiple locations. Right now, we're currently broadcasting on Facebook, on our private Holistic Health and Wellness Club. So hi to all my Holistic Tribe and Mystic members at FeFe the Holistic Gypsy. Let me a second. I'm actually, okay. There at the bottom of your screen, you can see that is our link or website address to our private Holistic Health and Wellness Club. But I am your host and the founder of FeFe the Holistic, FeFe, oh my gosh, so much. FeFe the Holistic Gypsy. .com, which is a private online holistic health and wellness club that empowers our clients and members to be empowered with self-healing, natural healing. We have holistic services, articles, videos, a library, and a growing library of video content there that is there to help empower, encourage, inspire, and inform you so that you can apply the things that you are learning. And if you're not confident, you can always book a one-on-one. I am a certified detox specialist, clinical iridologist, and regeneration specialist. I'm also a holistic coach, holistic health practitioner, and a self-empowerment spiritual advocate, or you can call me an enthusiast. So we're going to get started tonight. As you probably, if you're just chiming in, tonight's topic is cut the crap. Last week we actually talked about, or not last week, our last Will to Wellness. By the way, our Will to Wellness is every second to fourth Wednesday of the week. So 2 weeks ago, we delved into, the topic was you feel like shit because you're full of shit. So that was part one. So I will leave a link in the description below this video, probably after I get off of the previous one. So they kind of go hand in hand. So yes, in our last Will to Wellness Wednesdays, we delved into, the topic of you feel like shit because you're full of shit. An average human, obviously, well, a lot of people don't know this, but an average human is walking around with 20 pounds of waste and old fecal matter that is too stagnated and too dehydrated to leave the body. And this has a great effect on our health. And the long-term effects leads into what we are called, what's called diseases. But some of the symptoms that make us feel like shit are usually like the headaches, the bloating, the gas, the fatigue, the crankiness, even blurry vision, even back aches, neck aches. I'm trying to think of things. Oh, constipation, feeling dehydrated, and things of that nature. So I'm not going to really take too much time delving in what we delved in last time, but we'll probably get into some revamping some of the things we went over in this particular topic. So I would advise to definitely go watch that one because this is continuation. And this one is again entitled Cut the Crap or Cut the Shit, whichever one you would like. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. I am operating my devices here, so if you see me looking in these locations, it is due to me trying to navigate everything here. And I do have my wonderful partner in the background also helping me as well. I believe. Okay. So, yep. Okay, so cut the crap. All right, so obviously it's pretty obvious that we know what the topic is tonight. This topic is about knowing, obviously we know that certain foods do not serve us. As we went over in many Will to Wellness Wednesdays, in many of my videos, if you ever watched any of my videos, I am on YouTube, I am on Facebook, FeFe the Holistic Gypsy, and even on Instagram, even though I don't really do videos like that on Instagram, but you know. So cutting the crap is about the elimination process, and tonight I want to actually delve into some of the challenges when it comes to eliminations. I also want to delve into some of the things some of the things I would suggest cutting, especially if you're having certain symptoms. We went over those symptoms last week. That is obviously a very smaller range because, again, depending on how long your body's been out of balance, the symptoms will become more severe, okay? And we also will be going over tonight actually, just because dealing with this being a holistic, everything's holistic, but how should I say this? Given that this is cutting the crap in the elimination process, we do have to see it on a more holistic basis to see why is it sometimes challenging to cut the crap. Why is it challenging to cut the crap, and why we went in last week, why you get headaches, how is it correlated, because everything is interconnected. So, even though it sounds very cute and very simple to do, it's not always easy, but it can be done, and it's worth doing and gaining that self-discipline muscle to get to a space where, you can take back the power of your health. And that first starts with mindset and accountability and expanding your mind to new information, and then changing and applying that information and changing the habits, So, yeah. So some of the things we went over last week as far as cutting the crap, some of the symptoms we were talking about was when you feel like shit because you're full of shit, was having bloatedness, having gas, constipation, trouble sleeping, headaches, brain fogs, sometimes low libido, fatigue, feeling sluggish, tired, poor memory, and body or mood swings. Okay, so those are usually the symptoms you feel like, not too far from the time you've eaten stuff that's taking your body totally out of whack, totally out of alignment. And this, as we went over last week, is due to hydration, constipation, and obviously through what you consume. So that's why we're delving into cutting the crap. And then we also went over just the cause and effect last week. We went over how these foods actually create create these bodily expressions and symptoms. So I would advise you to go watch those previous videos again. So, okay, so now that we went over that, cutting the crap. Okay, some of the challenges, coming with eliminating foods, because I left off kind of leaving with, the importance of consumption and eliminating the foods. Well, why is it challenging? We all know better. Why don't we do better? Why are we struggling to do better? We'll be delving more into that actually in the Practical Mystics Club, which I'm actually feeling generous to actually open that up to the public as well, because that would be very, very helpful. So you might see me come on here probably next Monday. If you're interested in that, I will RSVP at FeFe the Holistic Gypsy. But for this particular sex segment or topic that we're talking about cutting the crap, we have to look at why do we consume certain foods before we look at why, how, and why to eliminate it. Why are we consuming certain foods, right? And again, we're going to delve more in depth with this particular, what I'm about to go into next Monday. But I'm not going to drift too far away so we can stay on topic of subject tonight. But we eat certain foods because we're dealing with unprocessed traumas, unprocessed emotions, okay? So that makes us gravitate to eating foods that are usually processed and more dense and refined, because we're actually trying to suppress these feelings, so we gravitate to more denser foods, okay? And we also talked about last week the effect of those denser foods. Not only do they take longer to digest, right? But that takes more energy out your body to digest, right? And it's more taxing on the body. And so when you're constantly stuffing your feelings and stuffing your face and even consuming now digital, a lot of us are addicted to social media. So being consumed with being online constantly, I am guilty of that as well. This is why I take time away to do social media fast occasionally. And I would advise, I would suggest you to do that as well whenever you feel yourself being pulled and now you're realizing a lot of thoughts are not your own. You're speaking like the last person you just watched or watched the other night, and vice versa, all that stuff. So what you're consuming is a good indicator and reflection of what's internally going on with you, okay? So again, a lot of us live, especially in the modern world that we live in, we are dealing with a lot of different stress, and it's like normal to be super stressed. And so it's like not normal for us to have a healthy outlet to express how we feel about these stress on an honest basis, let alone with ourselves, because we see so many people dealing with so much stress. We suppress our own, first of all, because we're like, okay, we see people more stressed out than us, clearly, and so we should be thankful. We shouldn't complain, right? Only when it's socially acceptable, right? And even then, we are conducting ourselves in a certain manner. I actually made a video last week with my Mystic members. We delved into the metaphysics of mask wearing. And one of the topics we actually talked about was just not really giving ourselves permission to really express ourselves and be honest with ourselves about some of the situations and how we really feel about ourselves. So we wear these masks, and of course, thus affecting the physical reality. Eventually, whatever we're internalizing is going to express itself on the external level, and that's also dealing with the body. So if you're constantly consuming certain foods, that's not serving you, that's really dense, because you're constantly in a space where you're trying to ignore or suppress certain emotions. And a lot of us don't even know that we're subconsciously doing this. Everything, like I said, everything that you're doing is always an internal reflection of what's going on with you, or what areas in your life you're not dealing with. And so this, as me being not only a detox specialist, working with clients, but also going through my own journey, I realized how food is totally a drug. It is totally can be used as a medicine. Not only this is why we have the Food Drug Administration, and that's their title and the agency name. You also had Hippocrates back in the day say, let thy food be thy medicine, and let that medicine be thy food, because it is constantly creating a chemical reaction that's altering your state of being. It could change your mood. It is creating a chemical reaction in the body that is obviously going to affect how you feel, how you conduct yourself, the amount of energy. And last Will to Wellness, we actually even talked about just the energy flow, just dealing with food and just understanding that we are all energy. We're all made up of energy. It comes in, it expresses itself in multiple forms, just like water. Water is obviously, you have solid, liquid, and gas. But at the end of the day, it is all different it's all different forms of the same thing. And so again, if you look around, everything is energy. You see solid, liquid, and gas, and it's different combination, different spectrums of light. This is what we see with our so-called five senses, right? But dealing with the fact that everything is energy. Energy can never be created or destroyed, only transferred. So, but one of the things that is law, and it's a universal law that a lot of prophets, gurus, and religious leaders have came and gone, is that energy is constant, is constantly changing. So, if energy can never be created or destroyed, it can only be transferred. So we are actually trying to master how we transfer energy and how we handle and conduct ourselves when it comes to energy. So when we are eating certain foods and we're breathing and you hear all the healthy things to do, it's a matter of transmuting energy and transferring energy in a way that harmonizes and balances not only yourself but your environment around you. And like I said, everything externally is a reflection of what's going on internally. So you have to look at, well, what is my day-to-day habits? What is the first thing and it's not about, just disclaimer, I am not one of those people that's very dogmatic. I'm not here to shame you about what's right, what's wrong, what's good and evil, what's black and white, and all that stuff, the very divisive, polarizing energy. Even though we do play with these energies, it is more so to play with these energies to get certain cause. It's really about cause and effect. And you use these polarizing energies to alchemize and balance yourself out. But if you are able to harmonize these energies and not be divisive, you won't have to have very extreme reactions when it comes to your health and your body, and even things in our reality. But because we are dealing with very polarizing energy in our world, with people being very divisive, we just went through the elections and everything. You're also dealing with people, just dogmatizing even eating a certain way. Now, obviously, we see a lot of people eat a certain way, and that also doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to be healthy, because you're also interfering with energy beyond just what you're consuming with food. You're dealing with energy when what you consume, like I said, with what you tune in, what you pay attention, what you do. The energy, where you convert your energy. Do you pour your energy into yourself and your family and your business? And where are you giving your energy to? This is going to reflect your state of balance, your state of well-being, obviously thus affecting your state of health. So when we're diving in to cut the crap, again, why are we even consuming crap? Now we just delve into, we're consuming crap, obviously, because we're dealing with, we're in situations that are not resonating with our soul purpose, it's not really vibrating with our soul purpose. These are things that we do not, we like put on the back burner because the world tells us that, this is more important, this is how you should be, this is what you should be paying attention to. And so, so then you do things, you take on these habits, whether it's drinking, smoking, some people addicted to gambling, some people addicted to video games, some people addicted to going to clubs and socializing, right? They cannot sit still by themselves. They do not, they constantly need to be stimulated. You know what I mean? And these are not, I'm not here to shame or demonize any of this. It's more so to take a look in a holistic view of why we're doing it. And it's due to these other aspects of ourselves that is invisible. We cannot see with the naked eye, but it is affecting us. And when we talked about food last week and you feeling like shit, we were talking about stagnated energy, right? And stagnated energy is obviously energy that is not flowing, right? And when you even learn about manifestation and the secrets and all the Abraham Hicks stuff, I don't know if you guys ever came across this information. I assume if you're resonating with me, you probably heard of some sort of those things or in that arena, right? And when you're dealing with that, you know, first of all, the law of attraction, you're constantly what your external reality is a reflection of your internal reality. So this is why I went into the metaphysics of the mass form, because what was going on internally and how we were going about approaching our day to day and avoiding living in the present moment, avoiding hearing certain thoughts, avoiding dealing with different aspects of ourselves and putting on that face and putting on that mask to appease the people we're around or to get things done and what have you, right? This is a reflection of the world that we live in today. And so when we're dealing with the foods and suppression of energy, again, you look at, well, why are people resonating with certain foods? It's because that's how they feel internally. They're trying to suppress these aspects of themselves. So you could have someone very nice and they have a drinking problem. You could have someone, someone that's a good father, but they have a gambling problem. You know, and there's these split aspects of themselves that we would perceive as bad because it's not really benefiting our lives. And it's something that is taking control of them because they're fighting internally with this stagnant energy that is not processed. So that's why we are usually drawn to eating a lot of processed foods. And it does, again, food is medicine, food is a drug, and it is used to help buffer some of the impacts of the worldly impacts that we are dealing with. So once we perceive that and we conceptualize that, now we understand why we do it. Now we should be able to take a better grip of, starting to get to a space where we allow ourselves to process on a more expanded way, which is dealing with the emotions. This is why when I work one-on-one with clients that have a hard time, they keep hitting the threshold when it comes to their holistic journey and changing their diet, it's very challenging for them to stick with it due to them really hitting a roadblock when it comes to the emotional body of thyself. By the way, you guys, if you don't know, we are multidimensional beings. We have different levels to us, and this is what, when we speak of holistic, it is about the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical being and well-being of the person and balancing, because those are all interconnected. So give you an example. If you are dealing with someone that's in your family or job and they're saying certain things to you that is emotionally disturbing to you, right? But you feel like it would be unprofessional or not a good circumstances, you don't want to set them off or nothing like that, so you suppress that, right? But you are not acknowledging the fact that that has impacted you, and this has now something that created an energetic wound, right? And you rather not talk about it, right? Because you don't want to give it energy, right? But here's the thing, that will grow. It's just like a leak. Like say you have a leak, your roof is leaking, and you just say, okay, I'm just not going to pay attention to it. I'm just going to patch it up, or not even patch it up. You're not going to fit the root problem. And so it just keeps cracking and cracking and cracking until it explodes. Okay, so this is the effect that volcano reaction, which is what people would say it becomes your trigger. So it gets to a certain point now that it's like pressing a button, and now you are going off, or now you find yourself in the kitchen stuffing your face, or you find yourself running out the house, going to the casino, or other different, or drinking, getting your bottle, getting your cigarettes, and different things of that. And this is due to that buildup of energy of suppressing and not really giving yourself permission to feel those emotions, right? Because, and here's the thing, the reason why we're so scared to feel those things is because then once we feel it and we acknowledge those feelings, then we have to say, part of us automatically says, okay, now that I'm feeling this, what am I going to do about it? You know what I mean? And we're scared to answer to that call, to do something about what we're feeling, to change the circumstances, to stand up, to speak up, to express ourselves, and find a healthy outlet to express ourselves. So instead, a lot of us run from ourselves, and this is why, again, we are in the habitual pattern of eating crap and eating certain foods. And to a certain degree, it can be used, but it's usually abused. Clearly, look at the state of health of the world. And I'm not just speaking about what's currently going on. You guys watch my cold and flu and certain things. I kind of giving you clues. If you saw my chuckle, I do not mean to be disrespectful for those who are still in that paradigm. But if you watch my videos, you're more than welcome to watch my videos and become a member. I do empower my members so they do know what's taking place, how to really take control of your health. And without even directly attacking that topic subject, yeah, I did give you the answer, or not even the answer. I help my clients, my members expand their mindset when it comes to the current state of the world that we are so-called in, right? A certain paradigm that we're in, a certain spell, a certain thought frame, a certain frequency that they're trying to put or keep people in, obviously. So that's another topic for another day. Actually, another topic for another day. But zooming back into cutting the crap, this is why we have challenges, okay? And it is okay, okay? We are obviously in the expansion process, a lot of us on the planet. If you're resonating, even curious to tune into this video, part of you wants to grow and expand for maybe many reasons. One, because internally you feel like what you're doing is obviously not, you keep hitting that threshold, or you just keep hitting that wall, and it's just like, and then either it's like that is, and others, you obviously want to break through the threshold and go even further when it comes to your holistic healing and health journey, and expanding your wellness and being self-empowered. And so this is why I make these videos available for everyone, whether you become a member or not become a member, just to have that information put out there. I know a lot of us is online, but we say it differently, and I try to make sure that I say it in the most holistic way and not allow my personality to get in the way. To obviously some, it still gets in the way, right? But for that to be said, it's not to allow my ego or my pain body to get into the way. And that comes with me doing a lot of internal work with myself and dealing with and managing my emotional body, okay? And so this is part of the challenges when it comes to cut the crap, because we hear about all the things we should be cutting out, which I will be diving into towards the end. But I want to this is mainly the emphasis that I want to put on is understanding the challenges, okay? And so I do have the Practical Mystic membership. That way I can reach more people than just my one-on-ones. And if you do feel the need to have one-on-ones, that's where I have my coaching program and my monthly coaching. You can choose which one is best serving you. But we'll dive into finding other outlets so that we can transmute that energy, okay? So finding other outlets to transmute that energy, and also finding other foods to supplement from the foods that we are eliminating, okay? And So with me personally, when I went through this process of changing my diet, it started for me about 10 years ago when I had, a lot of health episodes that was like affecting me. I was in college during that time, or about to graduate from college. Yes, it's been that long. But time does fly, you guys. But I was about to graduate from college. I was in my like junior or senior year, and it was like midterms, and I dealt with like what did I had like hay fever, hives, you know, for a whole week straight. It was exhausting and it was scary. My body was just going out of whack, and I have my story on my on our website about my journey. And I guess that's a summary of it. But at this point, I thought I was eating healthy. So I just that feeling of feeling empowered, disempowered, feeling confused, feeling like my body was attacking or going against me, left me feeling, not only mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted, but just feeling discouraged, And so thankfully, I was able to attract a holistic practitioner that came into my life, who told me the things I needed to eliminate, the things I had to cut out. And I instantly did it, right? Because I was totally suffering, and I suffered for a whole week at this point. And the doctors and the nurses there, where I was going to school at, just gave me drugs, and that just pretty much had me sleeping most of those days. And then the drug would wear off, and then the symptoms would start expressing themselves again, or continue to, try to communicate with me that obviously there was a problem. And so this is what, fast forward to where I am now, this is why I studied symptomology. Symptomology is the expression of the body, understanding it, and then obviously I learned it from a holistic healer who, peeled back the different layers of us and how how the body is impacting these different layers, and how the body is correlated in, the physical sensations and expressions, how they're correlated with these other aspects of ourselves. And so eventually I did enough self-studying and applied this information to us, so I knew it to be true. Helped people around me, family and friends, and then I got to a point where I just finally got my certification and everything. But again, going back, I had to cut the crap. And some of the things that I was cutting out back then, because at that time that I had this whole situation, I actually was, I was eating pescatarian, which I guess is, some chicken, some fish. I guess pescatarian means different things for people, different people. For me, it was chicken and fish, not really eating the darker meats and stuff like that, and a lot of whole foods. So I was eating that. I was drinking lactose. I don't even know the name or the brand, so excuse me if I'm butchering it. But that was, that's what at the time, what I thought to be healthy, until someone told me there's like different levels to it. And, I've played and dogged around for years since then with those different levels, and it's truly has been a wonderful tool to use. It is something I would suggest learning the cause and effect of those different levels, especially like, when you go into the fasting levels and how to properly prepare your body for fast, and how to break the fast, and all those other different things. And it's actually not that hard, but it takes self-discipline to build that self-discipline muscle. So I would advise, when you are cutting the crap and you know that you are, you know that you need to do something different. You know that currently your state, your current diet, and your current lifestyle habits, whether it even be like the consumption on different levels outside of just even the food, how can I, like, you know, give yourself, first of all, give yourself permission to take time, okay? And if you need help, you have people like me and many others that you may resonate with who are there, who has been there and are skilled and learned this, so we can be of service to people who are on this journey, who are deciding to better their health and to heal themselves and reclaim their power and sovereignty and health back. So yeah, back then during that time too, I actually was into natural products. So my first transition of cutting the crap actually was eliminating chemicals. So even my makeup currently I have on is all natural. And it took me some time to find organic, all natural makeup. So, you know, all natural makeup, I changed, you know, all my butters and creams that I put on my skin, deodorant. I stopped using perfumes and all that stuff, right? And another thing actually about cutting the crap and knowing when you need to cut the crap. First of all, that was again one of the first things that I decided to do. I already wasn't really eating red meat, pork, and all the other stuff, so that was super easy for me. So I just shifted into the pescatarian because I loved salmon, sushi, and fish. So it required me not to actually give up a lot of the things that I still enjoyed. And I actually occasionally eat those foods, but primarily I eat the foods that put my body in a state of rejuvenation, healing, and detoxification and hydration. And one of the things when you know you need to cut the crap is when you have body odor. If you wake up and you have bad breath, you have eye boogers, right? You have all that. If you go a day and your body is reeking, or you know you're constantly having to put perfumes on, and which are neurotoxins, you know, you constantly are dealing with these synthetic, fragrances. You should, and because you're suppressing and you want to ignore your body odor, because your body odor is the sign and the indicator of how toxic you are. It's usually a sign of things resurfacing in the colon, or stuck in stagnant energy, right? And not only just the emotional level, clearly, because we know why the physical level is a representation of the other aspects of ourselves. But this is, you know, a bodily expression and a sign that you need to reevaluate what you're currently consuming, and put more attention to giving and allowing space for your body to detox and creating the right internal environment. And the cold and flu Will to Wellness from a holistic perspective cold and flu from a holistic perspective. Yes, that was another Will to Wellness video I've done earlier this fall. I would check that out because it talked about the terrain of the body and the input, output, and all that stuff. It goes into that. I had a whole presentation, PowerPoint, everything for you guys in that video. So I would suggest you check that in previous Will to Wellnesses if you're interested, and if you're really ready to be committed and on this journey. Definitely become a member at the banner link below or in the description and everything. But when it comes to the body odor, you know, so bad breath. Okay, so yes, your daily habits affect your mouth, which affects your gum health, your body odor. So a lot of us too, we are accustomed to wearing deodorant that has antiperspirant in it, which prevents your body from perspiring and sweating in the areas and outlets that it's supposed to actually sweat. It is designed. It is very intelligent. But we've learned to do the opposite, and this is why, again, we have all these other health issues. But yes, we were taught to put deodorant with antiperspirant in it, and so this area is an area where the body, and it has lymph nodes in those areas. That's the place where it's naturally actually supposed to relieve itself from toxins. Okay, so if you are suppressing that area, just like we're suppressing other aspects of ourselves, right? This is going to create a buildup of toxins resurfacing within the body, and they're going to express themselves in other forms of way, such as not to mention the stuff that's in the deodorant. Like it has aluminum, all types of neurotoxins, preservatives. I can't even toxic ingredients in our deodorant. So I know by now a lot of people have switched to natural deodorant. I'm at a point where I barely wear deodorant. And the ones I do is like baking soda with essential oils, and some cornstarch or some starch. Very simple, basic ingredients. Very rarely do I wear that, but I allow my body to sweat. And actually, being a detox specialist, I actually encourage my body to sweat. And when you guys watch, it gets more in tune with, how the body and the technology of our body actually works and how we should be conducting ourselves. You would do the same. You would encourage your body to sweat, because that can lead to lumps, cysts, boils, right? And this is usually another symptom of you needing to cut the crap. Having these different, the body expressing acne, skin rashes. The body is, kind of erupting when you look at the bodily symptoms. It's like the body's so full of crap, toxins, cellular waste. And we delved into what crap is: stagnant energy, dehydrated, stuck, not flowing energy. So it's trying to purge itself out. And there's 4 elimination channels. I went over it in many videos before, but I'll briefly just go over it. You have the skin, which we're going to zoom back into because this is why. I'll just name the 4. The skin. You have the kidneys, which filtrates, and kidneys and bladder, which filtrates obviously urine and the liquid waste, and it also alkalines the different things that are circulating within the blood and lymphatic system, which is obviously circulating throughout all the trillions of cells within the body, which everything in our body is made up out of cells and 2 fluids. And you have the colon, right? That's where obviously the fecal matter waste that comes out, which if you're hydrated enough and your peristalsis is working correctly, you should be pooping 2 to 3 times a day. And if you eat more than that, then you should be pooping more than that. You should be, it should be harmonizing with as much input that you're putting in within the body. And then the 4th, so I said, and then the 4th one is your lungs, breathing. Okay, these are the different elimination channels to release toxins within the body. This is how the body tries to purge toxins out, and depending on which organs and glands and area that is stagnant, these areas, if these 4 channels are not stimulated or open and fluent and working efficiently, this can create what we know as different bodily diseases, right? Dandruff is one of them. That's usually stagnation in the head area, right? Dehydration in the head area. Psoriasis, eczema, acne, boils, and cysts are all just expressions of the body trying to release toxins and purge toxins through the skin. This is usually meaning that the kidneys are down, right? Or the kidneys are down. It's also meaning the thyroid is not working, is impacted as well, which is creating the skin to purge because the body's trying to release itself from all the buildup of crap and toxins that's in the body. So even though cutting the crap sounds simple, because technically all it requires is discipline and patience, and like I said, it's not always easy. We just went over why, but it is possible. It can be done. Are you willing to delve in and face these other areas and aspects of your life? Are you going to make the changes necessary so you can eat a more high vibrational diet? Okay? And you can still indulge, of course. I mean, I am not the gatekeeper of what you do. It's about cause and effect. But if you came on my video and you're watching, this is obviously about will to wellness. So if your objective and your goal is to obtain wellness, is to attain holistic health, is to improve your health, then you're going to have to cut the crap. And that's going to require you, in order to actually successfully eliminate certain foods that are very taxing on the body, you're going to have to deal with the emotional aspects that is constantly impacting us on a day-to-day basis, and be more intimate and in tune with yourself, right? Be more compassionate and understanding with yourself, okay? Understand that health is a journey, okay? And you're continuously trying to stabilize and harmonize as life unfolds, okay? And so that comes with detoxification. Detoxification is a release to help unblock the stagnant energy, so sometimes we go through trauma, and trauma is usually unprocessed emotions. It's stagnant energy, just like, you have stagnant constipation and a stagnation in the head, which creates a volcano effect of dandruff, and stagnation of acne breakouts, and stagnation of psoriasis and eczema, and the list can go on. We can delve into the different diseases and the correlations of just energy stagnation and how this affects the functionality of certain glands and organs in the body. And then they label it different according to the bodily expression and the pedigree of, the state, cellular, genetic state of the health and how it's functioning. But to simplify things, cutting the crap, now we understand a better perspective of the challenges, the biggest challenges, why it's hard to cut the crap. Now we can overcome it. Some of the foods to actually cut out, because again, I didn't want to make this too dogmatic. I wanted to be more of understanding of why we just wonder, like, well, I just can't put down the bread. I just can't, I've had many clients who came to me telling me what they can't do. That's just a very comfortable language for them. But the thing is, like I said, it's not about right or wrong. It's not about these foods that I'm going to list. It's not about demonizing these foods. These foods are, again, all foods are drugs, and they have their medicinal effects, but they also have their toxemia effects. And the foods that I'm listing here has a higher toxemia effect, and it's more taxing on your body. So this is why we want to eliminate those foods in order to achieve more optimum health, more energy flow, more hydration, and so we can see physical results of improving our state of health. And so now that we understand, again, emotional, dealing with the emotions, and some of the things that I would suggest, actually, I'm gonna just add that in this video, is journaling, meditation, doing like exercising, right? What makes you happy, and healthy habits of what makes you happy. Because we do say, oh, food makes me happy, or my alcohol, or all the different habits that are obviously we're in this perpetual cycle that is not serving us clearly. But just think of other things that make you happy. Think of even you may even have to delve into what are some of your goals and aspirations that you may not be expressing, and you are not put time aside to start working on. You'll be surprised of how this can just help make leaving certain foods behind so much easier. Okay, so some of the foods to cut out is dairy. Okay, dairy is a huge one. Refined foods, so refined sugars, foods that have been altered to where our body cannot no longer recognize it. This is again something I talked about in the other video, and so refined foods are going to take longer to process because they weren't made for our body. Our body, or should I say, our body was not designed for them. Our body is created by the supreme intelligence. Okay, so for us to think we can outsmart it, even though we're a part of it, it's almost ludicrous. This is millions of years of evolutions of modern technology right here. So everything is divinely created and in order, and it is us who must. And we don't have to. There's cause and effect if we do not. But if you are here and you're looking to get in alignment, we must get in alignment with how we are divinely made. So dairy, refined foods and sugar, breads, pasta. Okay, this was a hard one for me too. I know, I get it. And you're like, okay, how about the whole grain pastas? No. No. Again, I went over in the other video about complex carbs and how it affects your insulin, glucose, and all the other stuff, and the difference of simple sugars and processed sugars. Okay, this is why we stay away from refined sugars, processed foods, because it is more taxing on our body. Our body it's harder for our body to recognize it. Therefore, it's harder for our body to go through the 4 key processes, which is digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination. Okay, so if the body is not fluidly and efficiently working these 4 processes, then we come up with nutritional deficiencies, health issues, illnesses, obviously mood swings, physical. It could change. Obviously, that is our holistic health and well-being. Okay, so we want to keep these processes in balance as much as we can. And it is a journey. It is a process, because again, this requires you to unpackage and unravel the stagnant energies and other aspects of yourself, which is what causes you to gravitate to certain foods. And also, speaking of the bacteria portion, because a lot of people believe there's some good and bad bacteria. All of bacteria is divine, just like everything else in nature has its space and place. And again, we are talking about the supreme creator here, and they make no mistakes. It is about balance. So if you're eating certain foods, you're constantly feeding certain gut bacteria, and you're just constantly feeding certain gut bacteria. This can create an over infestation of growth and imbalancement of certain bacteria. So now your gut bacteria is not diversified. It is constantly having certain bacteria that is creating you to crave more of the same food, creating different symptoms, creating you to eat food that is not serving you and stuff like that. I'll delve into that later, because that's about your thoughts not being your own. And there's a multitude of perspectives to delve into beyond just the bacteria. but I just want to put that information out there. So beans, okay? So if you are in a process and you're trying to heal from fibroids, if you're trying to heal, if you have any of these bodily symptoms that I expressed early in the video, if you're constantly lethargic and getting sick, if you have stiff joints, bodily, aches, sinus infections, skin issues, right? Headaches, mood swings. I have to make separate videos of these different things and the root cause and the different organs and glands that's impacted and stuff, but obviously that takes time. But if you're not feeling at your best, if you're not feeling well, if you have any of these body sicknesses or so-called diseases, then again, these foods are what I will work on eliminating. Pasta, bread, cheeses. Well, I guess I said dairy, so that would cover. And I want to go specifically on this because I've had clients who tried to really, well, you didn't specifically state this, So cheeses, butters, and milks. And that's also including the creamy sauce that has dairy in it. Okay. Greasy fried food. Okay. And oil can actually be used in moderation because that's a whole other topic. But the certain fats and oils actually are used as a buffer, but we don't want to abuse oils. It slows the detoxification process, but it helps buffer the acid in the body. This is why high cholesterol goes up when you are dealing with someone who has unhealthy eating habits or stress levels, and it raises the cholesterol level because the body is producing cholesterol to buffer the acids from creating cellular damage or further cellular damage. Okay, so the body is amazing. Like after learning how the body works and the different chain reactions of what creates the body to it's like a symphony, and it's there to literally try to redeem you and spare you. But we are taught to look at the bodily expressions, first of all, to suppress them, let alone our emotions, right? Which creates us in this perpetual loop with health issues. Fried foods, boxed or canned foods, okay? So where could you actually start at? I would say this is where I started at. I started with dairy and darker, heavier meats and fried foods. That was the first level that I, took out of my diet. That is including donuts and all that stuff. And you can, once you get to a certain point of state of health, you can incorporate these things back with restrictions and moderations, okay? So they're not going to be a part of your main diet, or I don't like using that word, but we're going to use it because it's familiar, right? So we're not going to talk about that because we're not there. A lot of us are not there, so we're not going to talk about that. But dairy, that's including butter, that's including cheese, that's including eggs, that is including any of those creams, right? Milk, so those would be the first thing to eliminate because that's just pus, okay? And it has protein, and I'll just touch on this a little more. I'll make snippet videos to break this information down, but our body actually cannot utilize protein. It has to break it down, and it takes a lot of energy to break down protein, and it creates the body to turn acidic. So, because actually our body has to break all protein, even plant protein, down into amino acids, okay? So just FYI, so a lot of people, and they push the opposite in the mainstream, obviously because they're a corporation and they're in cahoots with usually different industries. That's why we saw a rise in, what is it, I can't even say it. Is it, what is it, Brandon? Osteoporosis and bone density. People were having trouble with that because calcium is another thing that the body will pull on if it is in it is SOL, right? If it's just in a state of distress and fully acidic, and you're just unaware because you were told to drink milk, right? Which we all, I went there, then that. I've had issues with my parathyroid because the parathyroid is the gland that sits on top of the thyroid, and that is a gland that helps with, that controls calcium utilization. So if your body is in a constant state of distress, and now it's not only rising in cholesterol, or it will also take the calcium from your bones, from your structure, and the integrity of your organs and glands will start to have prolapses, hemorrhoids, hernias, um, wrinkly skin. You start to bruise easy. You start to have emotional mood swings, feel depressed, because the body is constantly pulling the calcium out the body, not because it's crazy. No, it's doing it because it's trying to preserve and redeem you. But in order, because you're constantly giving and pouring in crap in your body, and you're unwilling, you don't know that you're doing it because you're told and you're advertised and promoted to do it, encouraged to do it, and they will give their half-assed truths to what's taking place in the body. But that body is actually that creates a plethora of issues. It's like a ripple effect that takes place. So yes, milk, no. Okay, coconut milk, yes. there are healthy alternatives, which I'll probably, for the sake of time, I'll probably like do another video. A matter of fact, FeFe the Holistic Gypsy, I have a whole section dedicated, a video library section dedicated to people who are in their self-healing journey. I'll be making support videos there, so you can grab from and watch and be encouraged. And it's the safe place where it's not like the Wild Wild West like Facebook is, or Instagram or YouTube. It is the place focused on self-healing on a holistic level. And so you can just go into the different categories and be a member based off of what level you feel you are ready to expand and work on. And yeah, so I think that's it. Obviously, meats, and again, that's another debate, another thing that's been highly dogmatized and demonized. I'll just say this: life is consumption. As long as we are living, we are consuming some level of energy, no matter what. There's different degrees of it, and no matter if your imbalancement, is always creates destruction and havoc, if you are imbalanced in other areas of your life. So that's to say to the vegan out there that's out here demonizing people who are not at a space to eat. And even veganism is a whole thing in itself. While we're so busy pointing the finger, a lot of people are eating still unhealthy and processed foods. And unhealthy is just a state where you are imbalanced, where your body is not even capable of healing itself, okay? So that's what it means to be unhealthy. And a lot of us are in a state where our body is not able to heal itself. It's in a degenerative state. It's in a drowning state, or should I say stagnant state. This is why also another reason people get stiff joints. And inflammation takes place because the body is using the lymphatic system is there to try to buffer some of the acids within the body as well. But I hope this video was very informative. I have not decided, I think I kind of did, but I'm not going to announce it yet, our next Road to Wellness, which will be in December. I'm actually going to possibly do one because I'm going to be doing like a special series. That's my birthday month. So I will be, and it's obviously the holidays, and we're also dealing with the cosmic alignment that's going to be taking place. So a lot of activities will be taking place next month. So I'm going to, do one video to wrap up our 2020 year, and I'll also be doing like a special video. What was the topic was I going to talk about? Do you remember? Well, we're going to delve more into you eat processed foods because you have unprocessed emotions. So that would be the topic for our next Will to Wellness. So we'll dive into that, and it will be on a Wednesday, more than likely the second Wednesday of next month, given that my birthday's on the holiday, Christmas. I'm a winter solstice baby, and then we have the winter solstice alignment. And I'll also be doing a video going into the metaphysics of what took place this whole year, of all the different spells and rituals that took place, as far as the lynchings, public lynchings of our melanated brothers and sisters that were rampant, that caused a lot of emotional turbulence in our globally, not even just in our country, globally, as well as connecting the dots with that whole situation that we saw, and the correlation of, you know, the paradigm we live in now, and the quote unquote, they changed it from Corona, the crown, COVID. I was trying not to say that word to trigger the algorithm, so I just got in Facebook jail. But I'm going to actually do, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the energy that's hitting the planet right now, and, or should I say activated within us. You could say hitting the planet, or us activating and awakening certain levels of conscious energy on the planet, as above, so below, as within, so without. So we'll be diving into that. It'll probably be like a two-part segment. One portion I will do for free, and the other portion diving into what to expect, the energy that is taking place, and how to walk in your power. That is more of a spiritual, I guess you could, you know what I mean? But obviously, in order to fully be in this energy and implement it, you have to be holistic. You have to bring your emotional, you have to implement these things. Because a lot of us know things, but it's about implementing and doing better. And that is actually our mystic video. You know better, but why do we struggle to do better? I'll actually be doing that live, exclusive. Well, I said it, I will do it for everyone. So I'll be doing that actually Monday, and I'll be opening the floor. That's open for everyone to join, actually. So I would say RSVP, sign up for FeFe the Holistic Gypsy. Give me like some time. I will open that up because the tickets were going for $22. But I will be doing that for free as my giving gratitude, honoring the season and energy that we are in. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. Share this with anyone that you love that is looking to change their life and better themselves. So family, friends, and those who would be interested in really empowering themselves and being encouraged. I am not here to discourage you. I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to even dogmatize this information. It does not belong to me. I'm being of service because this is my calling, and I hope this was helpful, and I thank you all for watching, and I hope you tuned in. Go like me on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're finding me. Subscribe, put the notification bell on. I say better yet, sign up on our website, because that way you can, not deal with the algorithms and third-party social media. That's why we have a safe place where we try to be as independent as we can. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and stay encouraged on your journey. Okay, it is a journey. It is not an overnight process. This was not an overnight process for me, and I'm still in the process of, my healing and holistic journey. So I hope you guys take care. Have a good holiday. If you guys are celebrating that, enjoy your family. Stay in balanced vibrations. Peace. I was about to turn here off, but I think I have to turn here off. Peace.